domain, just x values, so the first component. So 2, 7, 0, 7 again. No, you do not write that one. Okay, no duplicates. And what about range? That is the second component. So 1, 3, 3, 0. So 1, 3, again, no duplicates, so 0 is the range. Part B, y equals negative square root of x plus 1. Okay, is this a function? Well, what did I say? Function means for each x value, there is exactly one y value you can compute. Okay, so plug in x equals, for example, 0. X equals 0 will give you 1, so square root of 1 is 1, it's negative 1. So x equals 0 will make y value negative 1. Only 1. And you just think about many other values. It's going to be, you can find each and every time you can find one y value. So that will make this one function. And what is the domain of this function? So, what is the domain of this function? Well, when you have a radical, I emphasize that x plus 1, the radicand, the expression under the radical sign has to be greater than or equal to 0. Otherwise, it's going to have a complex value numbered function. So you cannot do that. So that is x is greater than or equal to negative 1. That makes domain is from negative 1 to infinity. Okay. What about range? In terms of this y value, y value is negative of square root something. Yeah, without this minus sign, square root of something is always what? 0 or positive number. Okay, the result is going to be 0 or positive, but that one is a negative of that. So y has to be always less than or equal to 0. Alright, because of this negative sign. So which is what? From negative infinity to 0. This is a domain, this is a range. C, x equals y squared. Again, how can you tell if this is a function or not? Only one criterion over here. For each x value, do you find only one y value? Okay, so I'm going to make it x equals 4. Well, what can you say about y? Oh well, in this case, y can be positive 2. What about negative 2? Yeah, y can be negative 2 also. So that means for each x value, okay, here x value 4, y value can be just 2 or negative 2. That one is not the concept of a function. Okay, so this is not a function. And the graph wise, yes, when x equals 0, 0, it will look like this. Because look at this, when x equals 4, it can be y equals 2, okay, or it can be y equals negative 2 over there. And for domain and range stuff, as you see, the graph is very convenient to use. So x value, the domain is from here to here, all the way. So from 0 to infinity. On the other hand, the range, well, it goes to infinity eventually, and it goes down to negative infinity eventually. So the range is from negative infinity to positive infinity. Number 10. Find an equation of the line with the slope 0 and passing through 4, 9. Slope 0 means what kind of a line has a slope 0? Well, that is horizontal line, and the equation wise, that is always y equals something. Well, the line goes through this point, so y equals, of course, naturally you are going to pick up 9 over here. So you have a 4, 9. So y equals 9 looks like this. The next one, I believe there is a typo here. Find an equation of the line with the undefined slope. Okay? Part B is undefined slope. And again, passing through 4, 9. So what is it? What does it look like when the slope is undefined? Well, that is a vertical line, so passing through the same point 4, 9 and the vertical, the equation is x equals 4. Okay? Part C, find an equation of the line with the slope -3/2 and part C, slope is -3/2 and passing through again same point 4, 9. So 4, 9 over here, it goes through. On the other hand, the slope is -3/2, so something is falling going this way, correct? Okay, so I can tell this much. We can say this line equation is y equals -3/2 x plus b. So the question is, how do you find the value of this b? Yes, okay, always we are going to use the point that line goes through. So that gives you 4 goes in here and 9 goes in here. So that gives you 9 equals. Plug in x equals 4, 4 will and 2 will be cancelled and reduced to 2, so -6 plus b. So add 6 to both sides, make it 15 equals b. So our final answer is y equals -3/2 x plus 15. Okay? The last one is, yes, now we don't have a slope, we don't have anything about the slope information. So that means, yes, we have to find the slope ourselves. Oh, still number 10D. This time the line passes through 4, 9 and 2, -11. So, how do you find the slope? Yes, slope formula is one of the most famous one. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Of course, you can say y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So that gives you, I'm going to just use this. Okay, which one is y, doesn't matter. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's see, -11 subtract 9, 2 subtract 4. So that gives you -20 over -2, which is a +10. Well, the slope turns out to be +10, so halfway done. So we have tentatively the equation y equals 10x plus b. We can tell this much. Now we are going to determine the value of this b. Okay, what can you do? As before, we are going to substitute. Well, let's put 4 here and 9 here. So 9 equals 10 times 4, 40 plus b. So we subtract 40 from both sides, make it b equals negative 31. So our equation is y equals 10x minus 31 is the final answer. Okay. The last thing, number 11, not the last, second last. 11. Let f of x be an even function and the g of x be an odd function. And 4.5 comma negative 8 is on the graph of both functions. So this point is on graph of f of x and also graph of g of x. Well, A, find a point that must be on the graph of f of x. Find another point that must be on the graph of x. So how we are going to determine that? Which point is going to be a strongly that just must be on the graph? Well, we are going to use the fact that function f of x is even. So even function, the graph is going to be symmetric with respect to the y-axis. So let's mark over here. This is 5 comma negative 8 and symmetric about the y-axis, so it has to go to the opposite over here. That is what? Negative 5 comma negative 8. So this point must be on the graph, okay, to satisfy the condition that function f is even. The other one, g of x, is odd function. So what does that mean? This odd function means symmetric about the origin. So from here, this is the origin. So we are going to go through over here, then go to the opposite. Where is the point over here? Well, that one is negative 5 comma negative 8 becomes here positive 8. This kind of polar opposite, okay? So this point, negative 5 comma 8 must be on the graph of g of x. So this is just a conceptual question, okay? Well, the very, very last one. And number 12, this time, f circle g of x is given. That is negative x plus 3 squared plus 5 times negative x plus 3 plus 1. So, unlike before, okay, we have a composition and we are going to sort out what is f of x and then what is g of x. So we have to think backwards, okay? So because this is a composition. So how we are going to do this? Observe this composition. Do you see something is repeating over here? So for example, negative x plus 3 here and the negative 3x plus 3 is in here. And based on this function, this is composition over this means f of g of x. So that gives you, yeah, f of g of x. So g of x goes inside of f. So what is g of x? Well, I believe this is g of x. Goes in the primary function f of x. So how we are going to understand this? Well, this, yes, g of x is negative x plus 3. Once you determine this g of x, the f of x is kind of the template for the function, okay, template. So this is f of x is something squared plus 5 times something plus 1. You know what I mean? So that one is like a something squared plus 5 times something plus 1. So that whatever you have a g of x can come in here. So we can call it just x squared plus 5x plus 1. That is f of x. Okay. So what do you think? Well, I know this exam makes you always, just everybody nervous. It is a very natural thing, and well, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you guys that you cannot see me, and I mean, no, just you cannot talk to me like in person, okay? And you are going to have an exam, and you have no choice that just having that exam on MyMathLab. However, you are familiar with the MyMathLab problems and the system, so by now you're an expert on the computer, okay? So hopefully just everybody feels comfortable, and I want you to be a little just relaxed, okay? We take the quiz every week, so I'm sure that one helps you. So exam is in a different scale, but well, that's why I give you the review homework, okay? So that contains all the problems you may expect in the exam. And I'm glad that I give you 2 exams for exam 3, so each one carries like a lower weight, okay? It may take the same time, but it takes a lower risk. Well, the exam is long, that means each problem has a less risk, okay? Less weight, therefore less risk, all right? So just study hard, just be safe, and stay healthy, and we are going to finish the semester very safely, okay? Everybody wants to get their desired, outcome from this semester, and we will make it happen, and I will try to make it happen, all right? Okay. Bye, and oh well, let me emphasize one more time, exam 3A. It opens at 11 a.m. Of course, this is a Friday, and it's going to close at 6 p.m. I'm not going to give you too much time, okay? So even if you have a job where you finish, you are going to arrange the time. So we are going to have 1 hour, yeah. So let's say I give you 1 hour to take the exam, and you are going to have enough time to cover this, okay? Good luck. See you next time.